Pardon me while I take a sip of my tea. Oh, I think I'll be English today. Today we're going to talk about, no. Oh, pardon while I take a sip of my tea. Guys, we are changing it up. I want to be comfortable when I talk about what not to do in interior design. And if you are making these mistakes, I am going to beg you to undo them. What makes a room look cheap? Well, I'm here to spill the tea. I've always wanted to have a one-on-one conversation with tea in my hand or coffee, and here I am doing it. It's called manifestation. I know it's not a big goal, but it's fun for me because I feel like maybe I'm in your living room. By the way, guys, I'm curious, do you like this new filming setup? Typically, I'm standing on my feet in heels in the foyer and my back is breaking. Now I'm comfortable, so I feel like I'm not doing the right thing. But maybe you like it better too. I want to know. Please sound off. It's important. My biggest pet peeve at the moment, there are so many offenses out there. And by the way, if you guys are doing any of these things, there is no shame in doing them. I'm just expressing what I think would make your room and your lifestyle more beautiful. So it's not a dig. So please don't get upset. I don't mean to make anybody upset, but I'm just going to point out what I think doesn't look great. So perhaps you can evaluate it. And now that we have prefaced this with so much anticipation, let's get into it. Grommet curtains. What are grommet curtains? Well, they are actually what some inventor thought would be the easiest way to hang curtains. And that's obvious because it's not only easy, but it's just unattractive. So grommet curtains are curtains that already have holes in them. All you do is run them through the pole and you're like, wow, that was easy. Well, the reason it was easy is because it is easy and it just doesn't look great. It doesn't cost more, by the way, to get a French pleat, a ripple fold, a goblet, any of those other types of curtains that you would be installing, whether it be custom or pre-purchased, would look 100 times better. So for whatever reason, the grommet needs to go to the grave. The next big offense that I know you guys can change immediately. And I know you're planning on doing it. You didn't mean to leave it. And now it's been 3 years and you're living with cords hanging from your television. I know it. Take the time. I don't care if you puncture a hole in your drywall, throw the cords in there, puncture another hole and pull them back up. I am begging you, beseeching you to get rid of those cords. I take back the DIY project because I don't want anyone to hurt themselves, but hire a person off of TaskRabbit. It's not going to be that much, 75 bucks, I don't know, but it's going to elevate your space. So if you've got a TV, which I know you do because you're watching, right? And if it's hanging from the wall down, it has to go. It has to go immediately. And there is a quick solution for that by calling somebody in your neighborhood, an electrician, to come and take care of it. And you're going to feel so much better. It's going to look so much better. By the way, if you also have a very large flat screen and you're having it sitting on a table, that's not the worst offense. That's not bad. But I would much rather you mount your television to the wall. I think that just looks better versus having it sit. So if you are wavering between sitting and mounting, I would go for mounting. My videographer just informed me that not only does he have cords, but he also has the television sitting, so he's in big trouble. Singular accent colors have to be absolutely eliminated. I see people with great taste and all of a sudden they have this incredible house and then all of a sudden they think, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pop in canary yellow in my pillow, in my drapes, and in my rug, and that's gonna be a really great accent color. No, that's not gonna look good. Singular accent colors don't work. End of story, period. The only time that a singular accent color could work is in your artwork and in only that one piece. So that's literally a singular accent color on one piece. However, this is what I recommend that you do. A lot of people have trouble with this and I'm here to save the day. What you need to do is that you need to pick a color palette. I'm going to pop in some color palettes here. You can Google them, they're everywhere, and you need to pick one that speaks to you. These are colors that work together in a grouping, and then you can buy things of these colors for anywhere in your room and you are sure to dazzle the crowd. Let's give a couple examples of rooms that have been done with these color palettes. Look at these rooms. Need I say more? You've got homogeneous colors in the same family. Some are lighter, some are darker, but they are complementary and they are really making a beautiful statement, and you take the guesswork out of buying things. Take the swatches with you, get a grouping of fabric swatches, take it with you everywhere you go. That is something we do as interior designers, is that we take samples with us and we put them against furniture, we put them against other pieces that we're planning on buying, we put them against accessories, and we make sure that everything looks good together so that when everything arrives and we install, it works beautifully. Backsplashes. This is something that's happening. And unfortunately, it needs to stop and it needs to be updated. So anything that's on your backsplash that has a scenery of some sort needs to be immediately removed. There was a time where you would see like a Tuscanian, if that's a word, background, a village, something that's sort of artsy, like a painting of some sort of a forest, and next thing you know, it's on your backsplash, as you can see in these photos, and it just does not look good. And it also, you tire of it very quickly. Remember, in interior design, my best advice to everyone that are my clients and you equally is that you don't want to bring in things with pattern, things that are wild, because what's going to happen is that you're going to tire of them. Now, you can bring in wild things, which I love, things with pattern, which I appreciate, but you're going to bring them in as accessories so that when you're tired of them, which you will in about a year or so, you get rid of them, no big deal. But when it comes to your larger pieces, furniture, backsplash, anything that is really not moving for a good decade, you certainly want to make sure that they are neutral and that they are plain so that they can last a long time. I get a lot of requests from people who call me on my Zoom consultations. By the way, if you need to consult on anything, we can jump on a Zoom and we can have a one-on-one conversation about what's happening in your home. I love meeting all of you guys. So if you're interested, you can book a 20-minute or a 1-hour meeting by clicking the link in my description section. Most people are at a loss as to what to bring that complements the marble. My suggestion to all of you is to continue whatever's on the surface of the counter to the backsplash. That is the cleanest and best way to do it. If you want to bring in a different backsplash, that is something you have to be very careful about, and that is something you probably need consultation about, because if you make a mistake, it's very costly. My suggestion is just to use the same material, go all the way up. It's what some of the best interior designers are doing. It's what we're doing in our projects. Look at these photos. I know photos don't lie, and look how great these look. Speaking of fantastic kitchen backsplashes, here is an example of what works. This is a very busy marble, so it's not for the faint of heart. However, what backsplash could you possibly put in this kitchen that would work other than the exact material that is on the counter? So it looks great. Don't doubt it. Don't think that it's dumbing it down. It's not. There is a trick to design that less is oftentimes more. The power of restraint is very important. I am guilty of this. I personally am guilty of having done this. And look, we all have to learn. Nobody knows everything. I had a lot of experience throughout the years, and one thing that I regret that I've done that I don't want you guys to do is to bring in anything that is polished and brass together, meaning polished brass. Shiny gold is what I'm talking about. So I don't know what came over me when I decided to do lacquered, not unlacquered, lacquered door handles. In a way, I didn't want to deal with things patinaing in a way that looked a little bit weird, but I have to say that I was absolutely wrong. And I wish I had the foresight now that I had then, but this was almost a decade ago when I chose these. And anything that is shiny and gold is never going to look timeless. It's never going to look uber designer. So look at this mirror. It's shiny. It doesn't look good. Imagine if it were patinaed and had some old world quality to it. That would look good. Take a look at this room. Everything in here is shiny and everything in here is gold. Thank God I didn't have that trend on me, but you know, I always had some notion of what looks cheap. But even little bits of shiny gold, in my opinion, should not be used. I like gold. It's in my heritage, it's in my blood. I love gold. I mean, my watch is gold, with the exception of jewelry, of course. You want to have something that has patina to it. So I always say, go for the unlacquered brass, which takes on a form of its own. I've got these Kalmar sconces in this room as I'm looking at them now. They are not shiny gold, they're brass. I love them. They're vintage and they have a little patina to them. They have a little antiqueness to them, and that is what makes it very elevated and not look cheap. Another example of what looks great that's brass and looks elevated is in my coffee table. You guys have seen this. Look at the planter that's here. It is not shiny. It is not gold. It is a aged gold, which is what we're looking for. Now, if you want to buy something that is pre-aged, that's new, that's okay too. Not everything has to be old for it to be okay. Just make sure that you pick aged gold versus a shiny brass gold. Last but not least, something that makes a home look cheap is putting in very well-known artists on your wall as art. So look, unless you are Mr. Getty or own the Guggenheim, we know very well that you do not own the Mona Lisa. So putting Mona Lisa in your room is not a good idea. Putting a Monet or a Van Gogh or any of those really big artists with artworks that are really ubiquitous and you've seen time and time again is not doing you a favor. I would rather you had your 5-year-old do a scribble and put that on the wall before you put up a Van Gogh. And the reason is that everybody knows that that's not real. Not that you're pretending the stuff that you do have on your walls is real, it just looks cheap. So put up photography. You know, take your camera, go to the beach, take a picture, anything when you're in the outdoors on a campground or you're in the mountains or even of your children, whatever it may be, take an artistic photo. It's much better than putting up Madame Mona Lisa. If you disagree with any of my tips, I want to know which one. And if you love one of them that you didn't even think about until now, I want to hear about that. I love all you guys. I read all your comments. I can't wait to see you every Sunday. Hopefully we're hanging out together. And again, if you haven't subscribed, I would take this little moment to ask you to please subscribe, as it does help the channel. And I can't wait to see you guys next week on the Red Elevator.